I became a Christian in my last year of high school when I was 15, so just over 15 years ago now. And at the time, so joined a church, got discipled, got to know more and more about the love of Christ and what all that meant. And along the way, a lot of people said to me, "Oh, I think you're called to church leadership, or I think you're called to priesthood," because it was a CLV church, so they said priesthood, and I kind of batted it off and thought, no, it's not for me. It's not something God's calling me to. And quite a few people said it looking back, but I always resisted the call. And I guess looking back, there were two main reasons for that. I think one was, I guess, my arrogance and me thinking, I'd love to do something new and different and innovative that no one's ever done before, instead of, getting a run-of-the-mill, in inverted commas, job or way of serving God. And also, I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't dynamic enough. I was an introvert in a church full of extroverts. I was someone who was definitely like to be more reflective instead of making noise and being out there. And all of my mentors, all of the people I looked up to in my church were by and large extroverts. So I thought, well, I couldn't possibly lead a church. I'm not good enough. So along the way, I've had different jobs and started my own Christian charity along the way, and have been involved in a lot of different things. And about 3 years ago now, maybe slightly longer, about 3 years ago, a lot of things just weren't coming off, and a lot of things which I thought God was calling me to just were dissipating. And it really caused me to think, well, what's going on and where is God in all this? And for about a year and a half, God just kept saying to me, well, am I enough? In your finances, am I enough? Are you going to be more generous and give more money away and trust me? All the things that you take pride in, so being a good musician in church or being a good preacher, whatever it is, are you going to lay all that down? If I say you cannot do that anymore, will you find your identity in me? And I just really felt like God saying, and like I say, it was a year and a half. I say it in a one sentence line, but actually this was really tough, really humbling. God saying, am I enough? You say I am, but am I really? But at the end of that season, I said to God, all right, so what now? I've let go of everything. I'm trusting in you. I'm not trusting in, my status or my skill set or my money or anything like that. What do you want from me? And I really felt like God saying, three things kind of bubbled up for me, which was to do with around preaching and teaching and sharing the gospel and pastoral ministry. Somewhere along the way, I really felt like God saying, I want you to be a priest in the Church of England. And so I spoke to a few more people, and again, I really felt like God was confirming it in different ways. But another key point, I was saying to God, right, I think this is where you're calling me. I think you're calling me to priesthood, to lead a church, specifically in the Church of England, not just church leadership, but priesthood. But one more sign would be nice. Just one more, just to make sure that I'm not just making this up or got carried away. Went on holiday with my wife and her extended family, and my father-in-law, who isn't a Christian, randomly said to her, asked her the question, so is André ever going to become a vicar? And Becca was, my wife was, playing stupid at this point, hadn't told many people. And she said, oh, why do you say that? And he just said, well, the giftings and the way he acts, I just think he'll be really good at it. And I was like, okay, God, this is definitely you in this. And at the start of this call, at that point, I'll definitely say I was maybe 10-20% excited, 80% terrified. So I met up with a DDO who essentially is someone who oversees the process of someone who wants to become a vicar, wants to enter into priesthood. And he has just been amazing. He's been really encouraging, asked challenging questions at the right point, and has really helped me along the way, asked the right questions and had all the meetings. And so it's got to the point now where I can say I'm 80% excited and maybe 20% terrified. And there are still moments of, God, why would you ask me to lead a church? Why would you ask anyone? It's such a big task. Like, surely if you just did it directly yourself, it would be much better. But for some reason, he asked people like me, he asked people like us. And yeah, it's come back to that sense of, this is definitely a calling to priesthood and not just church leadership in general. But this is God saying, you've got to trust me. In the moments where you think you're not good enough, and I could list a whole bunch of reasons why I'm still not good enough, and will, never will be perfect. But God's saying, you've got to trust me in this, and taking away that fear and that arrogance, which was maybe hindering me from being humbled to this calling before. But that season, really, God did a really deep work in me, and now I'm just trying to follow him and pursue his call. And if that means priesthood, great, let's get on with it and trust him along the way.